Hello and welcome to this episode of the Leaders Council podcast. Regular listeners will be expecting to hear an interview covering all forms of leadership, business running, and what it means to look after staff. But for the next few months, the Leaders Council is spearheading a campaign to hear from care workers up and down the country. We want to give an honest perspective of what care workers need, who they are, why they do what they do, and how the sector can benefit from investment, training, and respect. We will be raising the status of care. Today, I'm joined by Ross Stocker, a registered manager at Autism Unlimited. Ross, thank you for agreeing to come on to be interviewed, one of the first. Now, if you wouldn't mind just letting everybody know who you are and what you do.
Okay, so I'm Ross Stocker Drew. I am the registered manager of 2 homes within Autism Unlimited. I've been working in care, I'd say, for about 18 years, so it's kind of something I did as soon as I left school. It wasn't my ambition to actually go into care, but I went into care when I was 17 and never looked back, really. I've worked my way up through, there's pretty much no job in this industry that I haven't done, but managing a team is my passion.
That's good. You know, it's all about the people that you work alongside. And currently, if you wouldn't mind just going into a bit more, you know, what's your specialism at the moment? You know, what do you work with, or who do you work with, and how do you do it?
Yeah, okay. So I work with people with autism and learning disabilities. However, in the past, I have worked with people with dementia. But at the moment, I work with autism and disabilities. It can be very challenging, obviously having to learn a lot about autism, and you're learning every day, really. You can get, no days are the same, which is actually quite a good thing, but you can get one day where nothing really happens, another day where a lot's happening and you're having to calm down a lot of people at once. Staff morale can be low at times, so you have to kind of build them up at the same time. I have to kind of have a lot of hats on each day, if I'm honest.
And what sort of age ranges are you working with? Are you working with young adults? Are you working with those that are, of age? Are you working with children most of the time?
Yeah, no. So the people we support are from the ages of around 18 up to 50. There's no kind of age limit, but that just seems to be the one that we care for here at the moment. A lot of the ones that we care for have actually been within the organisation since they were children, so they've kind of just worked their way up. They started off in the school, Portfield School in Christchurch, which is a special needs school for people with autism and learning disabilities. Then they go on to our Futures program, which is basically college age. They learn life skills, and then from there they come into residential care.
And you know, if you're going to give, let's say, a small snippet of a day of caring for somebody that does have autism, not, let's say, one of the most stressful days, and let's not say one of the easiest ones, what does that look like, just for those that are tuning in that may not be aware of those ups and downs that you mentioned, those challenges that you mentioned? You know, what is it that you're actually sort of doing, and what skills does that take?
It's to be honest, it's very skilled job. You have to do an awful lot of training, and this gets updated every year, so you're constantly doing training on the job as well as formal training. It doesn't matter how much training you really do. It's, like I said, you're learning every day with regards to people we support. It's very unpredictable. Like I said, one day you could walk in and everyone's happy, everyone's enjoying their day. Other days you can walk into people demonstrating challenging behaviours, be that with the people they live with or the people or the staff. So you kind of have to learn how to de-escalate situations and protect everyone, really. Obviously, you want them to live as independent a life as possible, but a lot of the times we have to do stuff in their best interest, which can be a challenge at times, obviously working with multiple different agencies, trying to come to the same plan and understanding, which can be difficult at times. But we're kind of there, everything we do, help them with every aspect of their life.
No, that's it's such a wide range of skills that are needed, really, then, isn't it? It's not only the ability to understand a person individually, but also understanding the constraints that are going to be needed sometimes, having that level of control over a situation. And when you are dealing with people, when you've got more than one, it's not a one-on-one service. It's very hard to then be able to adapt accordingly to multiple situations that might be going off at the same time. And obviously you mentioned the training there. Where do you get this training? Who provides it? Do you think there's enough or too much, too changeable?
We have our own in-house training with Autism Unlimited, and most care organisations, as far as I know, are the same. But we do have external trainers for things like first aid, for Team Teach, which is ways to manage conflict if we're experiencing aggression from the people we support. And with things like we do MVQs level 2, level 3, care certificate, which is mandatory now, which can take up to 12 weeks to complete. And managers like myself have to do a level 5 MVQ in leadership and management. We're constantly going on training ourselves, having to do things like, so obviously we deal with their finances, we deal with their bills every day, so we have to kind of go through financial training. The training is never, it's endless basically, but I wouldn't say it's too much. It's definitely needed because everything changes so regularly within the care industry. You have to kind of adapt and change your ways of working quite regularly.
Yep. And there's lots of talk, let's say, about government support that may or may not be there for care workers. And I'm talking now just in general, of government putting forward idea that care is support. There's going to be funding, there's going to be availability, there's going to be that training, there's going to be support for organizations large and small, and sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Specifically for autism, they've got the national strategy, which is continuously looked at, and the current strategy is for autistic children, young people and adults from 2021 to 2026, and it looks at a real range of outcomes that are going to be needed to help people to understand what autism is, to help people get employment, to help carers look after those that are most in need. But there's some quite heavy statistics in there, and especially from the all-party parliamentary group. The Autism Act 10-year on report found that just 24% of autistic adults and 26% of family members think that public understanding of autism is at an acceptable level. That's quite shocking to me.
It is to me as well. I mean, to be honest, I think everyone should kind of have some sort of training. I mean, you can go to a supermarket with someone with autism, and people, onlookers, if they're having a little bit of an escalated episode, onlookers will look. People can be very judgmental and obviously look at the negative, what's happening, but they're not actually understanding how difficult it is for the person with autism to understand their surroundings and acknowledge the way they're feeling. It's so difficult for them to manage their emotions. So sometimes they can express that in a negative way. And without the understanding of people around you, it can be very difficult.
No, it really, I can imagine, it's not something obviously that I experience on my day-to-day working, with people that have extra needs, but having this
Mhm.
training would be beneficial. Having that
Yeah.
understanding would be beneficial, and just I can see the goods in the strategy for increasing awareness, increasing training, and everything like
Mhm.
that. But for yourself, do you think there are any current sort of challenges within your own homes, within your own organization, that could be addressed a little bit more? And I'm not talking from, let's say, the problems with the organization as a whole. I'm talking of resin, problems in general. uh,
Yeah. So, I mean, the main the main issue with any organisation, it doesn't matter where you work in the care industry, will be staff and staff retention. Um, Currently, it's an unskilled job, which completely baffles me because you need to be highly skilled. And obviously, as I explained before, all the training you have to go through, um, it, it's not really a job that you're doing, it's a vocation. You kind of go into this role because you want to make a difference, and for them to be told that it's an unskilled job is a bit of a
yeah.
it gives confusion to all of us. But staff retention with regards to wages are so low. The lack of funding from social services can be difficult as well,
Mm.
because obviously we can only pay our staff as much as we're being paid to look after the people we support.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a big factor as well.
And if you were going to say the one thing that would help with staff retention, what would it be? Would it be a change in the way that people view the industry, or the sector, sorry? Would it be a change in the amount that people are getting paid? Would it be, respect as a whole?
Um, I would say it would be the two main things would be higher wages to be compensated for actually how difficult this job can be, and the other one would be for it to be listed as a skilled job.
Mm.
People people can have quite a negative thought of working in the care industry. They look at it as it's quite an easy job to get into. We're always short staffed, so they always think there's going to be a job there. People, they don't really understand the the hard work that goes into being a carer. It's a challenge every day.
Yeah.
And sometimes people come into this job thinking that it's going to be, I mean, let's say they think it's going to be a slice of cake and a cup of tea sitting down with someone, but that's not the reality of it at all. And I think awareness needs to be put out there of how difficult it is. And obviously, the only thing you really see on media and things like that are the negatives. You never actually see the positives, which obviously has an impact on us, because it makes us feel like we're not appreciated a lot. So, yeah, awareness is definitely another thing that needs to be put out there a lot more.
And that's a really good point. That's one of the things that we at the Leaders Council are trying to do through this series, through this campaign, through the reports that we're going to be sending to ministers, to APPGs, to the select committees, is to highlight some of the success stories, to highlight some of the good work, all of the good work that people are doing up and down the country in this massively diversified sector. And I know there are going to be common themes, and you have mentioned one that is going to come across with everybody that I talk to, and that is funding, and that is respect of the individual. If you had one opportunity to change, one thing, you had the silver bullets, what would that be? What would you think would be the one underlying change you could make for the sector as a whole to make it work a little bit more smoothly, or for people outside to have that just better perspective of the people within the sector itself?
Yeah, I think myself would be just more awareness, more for people to be more aware of what actually goes into the the, the job as a whole. And I think another way of retaining staff would be for them to understand the progression that you can have within the role. It's not just be the fact of being a support worker or a carer. You can be many different things within the care industry. And there's always something that someone would enjoy doing because, like I said, there's so many different roles. There's HR, do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people management things that you need to have. So I think awareness of the whole industry of what's available and how the role is itself would be a big help.
No, that's a really important point, and if you think that's the most important thing to really get people into it, I think that's something that we will push. We will push the ability for people to know that there are career options, there are specialism options actually, which I think is highly important. In any career, being able to specialize in one particular sector that really makes you excited to get up and excited to help the people around you and feel fulfilled and worthwhile. And if that's the major element. Now, for yourself, as an individual, obviously you said that you sort of fell into care. It wasn't your career choice, but you've stayed. Why did you stay?
That is $1 million question. No, I absolutely love working within the care industry. I love making a difference to people's lives. I love the challenge. And like I said, I've worked in so many different roles within the care industry. I kind of know the different challenges that are out there. And it's just so nice to see the results, the good results, like when you make someone more independent or when you help someone to fulfill a goal or an ambition. It's lovely to see, and it makes you enjoy your job a lot more. It's not so mundane, if you like. We're not doing the same thing every day. It's different every day, so every day is a challenge.
That's put a nice smile on my face, hearing that that's the way that you get your benefit from it as well. It's a two-way street, having the ability to help and really for people to make you feel worthwhile as well through knowing that you are doing the right thing. Now, obviously, at the moment, we are going through a period of intense change. Government has changed, lots of events over the last couple of months that have meant the UK has taken an interesting look at itself, and obviously that's going to continue going forwards with the cost of living crisis, with some of the other issues, sort of worldwide as well, which are impacting everybody. But there's a new Secretary of State for Health and Social Care, Therese Coffey, and we are going to be presenting all of our findings to her via letters, via email, via calls with the team and the staff. And if you just wanted to say one thing to get your point across to the new Secretary of State, what would that be?
God, it would be quite a long conversation if I had the chance. The main thing is just to push more awareness out there, make it a skilled role, help people understand that it's not just about helping someone with their personal care every day. There's so many different parts of care. There's so many different things you're doing every day, and helping people understand how challenging it can be. Because, like I said, all you ever see is the negative stuff. You never see anything positive. And I know that's down to the media, but it would just be good for us to be mentioned about the positive things we do as an organization, not just as an organization, as a whole sector, and allowing people to understand the progression they can have within the role, and the impact we're having on the people that we're supporting.
Well, Ross, that was really, really good answer, and hopefully, as I've said, we'll highlight some of these things, these successes. And as we, build on this campaign and we build our resources and our understanding of what it is that everybody wants, we'll be coming back to you to be a co-signatory to one of the campaign letters that we send out. We'll be highlighting the good work that you and Autism Unlimited are putting together as well. And I look forward to having further conversations, to having a deeper understanding of you and the organization, and see what we can do to put you in the best light. But I really want to thank you for coming on today and taking this small amount of time just to give your honest opinion.
Yeah, no, thank you for the opportunity to highlight an ongoing issue within the care industry, really. Hopefully we can make a difference.
Ross, thank you and goodbye.